I mean, look at this. What is going on? I mean, am I good? Am I this good at golf, or is it just the clubs? Hello and welcome back to Josh Roddy YouTube. Today we have got a super exciting video and one that I have been really excited to film. These are the brand new combo length AVODA irons. So these are the first combo length irons on the market. They are one length all the way up to 8 iron. So my lob wedge and 8 iron play the exact same length right here. And then from 7 iron upwards, they start to then go up in length, which for me has kind of been a big, you know, that's one that I wanted in the combo length set. Is I'm happy to get that same setup in the shorter clubs. I just don't know how I feel about swinging a 4 iron that is 9 iron length, you know. So for me, when they come out with this technology of the combo length irons, I was super interested, and I think that thought process of having the same setup in the bottom end clubs was kind of something that I really agree with, just from like a consistent standpoint. If you have that same setup every time, you're gonna deliver the club in a really similar position. You know, that consistency factor is just gonna increase because they're the same length. And then, you know, I love having that 4 iron just a bit longer and increasing that length, especially in these longer irons. And we're going to testing in a minute, but I was super surprised with how the distance carries out with these longer irons as well. You know, they're not shorter at all. And I think that's something with the long irons that, you know, has really helped me, is that fact that these are all balanced absolutely perfectly. Throughout the bag, that swing weight is the exact same. And look, don't get that twisted. Swing weight is humongous within your golf swing. If your golf clubs are out, you know, your swing will be as well. Different load points and different kick points with every club that you have in the bag can just be a recipe for disaster, as you're loading your 4 iron possibly completely different to your gap wedge to then your driver as well. So I need to get some testing done with the longer clubs. That's why I don't really want to talk about these at the moment, because they're not perfect. These are, and I think that's why these clubs will probably start to take over, because they're just designed so well. Most manufacturers won't go through the effort of having everything perfectly balanced. They're mass produced, so the numbers are probably a little bit out. Your loft and lies are going to be here and there. These are spot on. I've got a loft and lie machine here. I've checked them. They're absolutely spot on to what they say on the website. And you know, that's what you want from an iron. You want something that you're going to pull out, you know how they're going to perform, and that's what you get from these. I feel like the mass-produced irons are, you know, they're struggling in places because they're not perfect. Don't get me wrong, if you're an average golfer and, you know, playing off a 28 handicap, you're probably not going to notice the difference between a 4 iron that's 19 degrees and 22. But for someone of a high level that's striking the ball consistently, you know, that's 10 yards, and that can be everything, especially with the lie angles as well. You know, if you've got a club in your bag that you hit left, that lie angle might just be completely out. So yeah, I'm so impressed with these. Let's get into some testing. Okay, so starting off, we're going to use the wedges, hit a few wedge shots, see how they feel, see what the numbers are like. Then we'll go into a shorter iron, like a 9 iron. We'll then go to a mid iron, and then we'll go all the way to that long iron, the 4 iron, as I think you guys are going to be so impressed with how these perform. Okay, starting off looks wise, I have got the Fujikura 125X Axiom shafts. I don't know if I've pronounced that right or I've absolutely butchered it, but these are beautiful. So impressed with these shafts, the way they feel, so solid. And definitely something that I would recommend to everyone to try is that graphite shaft, because They're so solid. I've noticed a big difference between the steel shaft and then the graphite is just levels above. The technology in these really worth a try. So yeah, bit pricey, bit spenny, but worth every single penny in my opinion. They are so good. Looks wise, when I put these down, beautiful. You know, they don't look and feel weird, you know. I thought it was going to be quite strange having like a 9-iron length lob wedge in my hand, but it's not at all. It feels very comfortable and I'm super used to it off the rip. Okay, so 60 yards is pretty comfortable number for me, like a 9 o'clock swing. Let's see how these perform. So 64, a little bit juicy on that one. And I think that's just where they're a touch longer. You know, probably the club head speed might be up a touch for me. So I might expect to see these wedges go a little bit further than what I'm used to. Okay, just soft on that one, just a reaction to the first one. Spin rate is pretty high. We're at 7,900. So a lot of the technology that Tom speaks about in the wedges, Tom is a designer, by the way. He's the owner of AVODA. He speaks a lot about the head weight in the wedges. They're super light, and that allows you to get a bit more speed, a bit more spin, and the ball obviously not go as far. Wedges aren't designed to go a million miles, you know. They're designed to control that wedge shot in, so. I mean, look at that. That's right on my number, 60 yards. Bit of spin, beautiful. That was up there at 9,000 spin. So yeah, I mean, that is crazy. I'm spinning that like anything. Let's go to sand wedge, see what happens there. Okay, so 100 yards. Now this is probably just a nice sand wedge for me. Let's see how the distance is. Okay, just a little bit left on that one, but consistent number and a bunch of spin, 11,000 spin on that. So, you know, same goes with the sand wedge there. A lot of spin with that wedge shot. 900 side spin, probably just a little bit pulley on that one. Shut the face down. Let's see if we can hit a better one here. And there it is, 100 on the buzzer. With a bit of spin, just dancing around the pin. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I can't fault that. Love the feel. The result is even better. 11,000 spin, 100 on the buzzer. And I mean, that is what we want from the wedges. You know, we want them to land at the number, good amount of spin. And for me, I feel like the more spin I have, the more control I have over my wedge shot. That launch kind of comes down with the spin. So typically if your spin rate is not high enough, you probably launch it too high. That one that comes out low spin, high launch is just a no-go for me controlling the wedges. If you can flight it down, control that spin, you know, that's a recipe for good wedge play. So yeah, I'm super impressed with these. Let's hit 120 shot with the gap wedge. Wow, I literally cannot stop hitting these. I mean, it's just beautiful. A bunch of spin on that as well. Dialed right to my number. I love them. Okay, now straight into the shorter iron, the 9-iron. Look, there's the point proven. 9-iron and a lob wedge, exactly the same length. And I think if you just get that set up consistent, it's just a recipe for good golf. The more consistent we are at setup, the better we're going to be. And I think that's the only position we can realistically have full control over in our golf swing. A lot of what we do is like a fluid motion, right? So if that setup is wrong and out, we're screwed off the get-go. That's why I love these all the same length. I can get that similar setup, and that consistency should show through that consistent setup. Okay, let's go 150 shot here, 9-iron. Let's see what happens. I've just absolutely flushed it. I mean, if you're thinking that they're not going to go far because they're a bit blady, I mean, I've just turned this one down. Face has got a little bit shut on me there, and that one's flown 157, so a little bit jumpy on that one, but that's more me just shutting the face down there. Let's see if we can actually square the face up here. And there we go, 150 on the buzzer, straight to my number, and that is what you want from iron play, is that consistent number. Releasing out to 155, spin rate is fantastic there, 7.9, so you know, it's ticking so many boxes. And like I say, I think where they're built so well and the swing weight's exactly the same throughout the bag, you know, nothing much is really changing. They become pretty easy to get good with off the rip because that setup is becoming more and more consistent. You know, you start putting on the same golf swing, your numbers are just going to be pretty good off the get-go. I mean, I've just hit that 150 on the buzzer twice there. Doesn't really get any better than that. Okay, so now they get a little bit longer. Here's the 7-iron and 9-iron compared side to side. So, yeah, just a little bit longer. And like I say, I think for me, that's probably something that I need. Like I say, I don't think I would feel comfortable over them top-end clubs that are super short, you know. So I've played, you know, variable length clubs my whole life, and kind of to go to this one length method is pretty scary for me off the rip. But you know, like I said, that combo length throughout the set and the bottom end being the same length, I totally agree with, and I can definitely see the technology behind it. So we've got a 180 shot. I've now got the 7-iron. Let's see how this one performs. I mean, they're just ridiculous. I've hit this 176 carry. Beautiful golf shot, fantastic ball flight. Launch is just absolutely perfect at 17 degrees. Backspin's fantastic. I mean, like I say, off the rip, they're just so good. I mean, they've only been in my house for probably less than 2 hours, so, you know, I haven't had time to get used to these. This is literally straight off the rip, and they are performing like this. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I've just hit this 176.6 again. Turned it over a little bit, but that's my ball flight, you know. I normally aim to the right of target. I'm so impressed. And let's just try and work one the other way, just in case there's any of you faders in the chat. Want to see one left to right? Let's try and fade one in there. Little fade, obviously distance has gone down. For me, I always hit a block fade, always, but just so good. The workability from it, I think that, you know, smaller head makes me concentrate a bit more. I'm a little bit more focused when I put these down. You have to be. They're a little bit more bladed than what I'm used to, but forgiveness-wise, it's quite surprising. I hit a couple of shots earlier that were a little bit bottom groovy, and you're kind of getting away with it. Let's just go back to that normal ball flight. And there you go. That was really heavy. I mean, that was a dreadful strike. You know, and I've lost hardly any distance there. Yeah, I mean, these are an absolute cheat code so far. Okay, so now the 4-iron. They are shorter than what a normal 4-iron is. This is my dad's 4-iron. This is the AVODA. So for me, I'm 5'8", 5'9", if you give me some Air Force Ones. But, you know, I'm not a tall guy. When I have a long iron in my hand, it doesn't really feel comfortable, I'll be honest. And I'm kind of a player that, you know, gets like a 9-iron in my hands. It feels great. You know, it's a good length. But something like a 4-iron, just, it's never felt comfortable for me, if I'm completely honest. just that length of a traditional 4-iron, you know, or even as you go up the bag, 2-iron, 3-wood. I mean, driver's a different beast because you want to hit that club as far as you can. But, you know, something like a 4-iron that I'm still looking for control with, it's just never felt comfortable. And that's when I put this 4-iron down. And I'm actually, you know, that's a great length for me. It's not feeling long, you know, and if the distance is the same as that, why not? You know, why not switch to something that's a little bit more de-lofted than what this 4-iron is? But if it gets the same launch and the same numbers, it's a win-win, isn't it? So here we go. AVODA 4-iron. What have you got for me? I mean, is this ridiculous? Guys, no mulligans on this channel as well, by the way. I mean, it's carried to 18, which for me, yeah, bang on. Launch is 10 degrees, pretty good. Should be up near 11, so, you know, fantastic. Spin rate's great. I mean, I am so impressed. Like I say, why would you not use something that's more comfortable for you at that shorter length? For me, it's fantastic. And I go to say this, that, look, if you're someone that's 6'2", and you actually might feel comfortable over a 6-iron, have everything at that 6-iron length and go up a couple of inches when you get to the 4-iron. For me, I don't feel comfortable over them top-end clubs. And when I put this down, it feels great. It's a good length for me. And I think it goes to say that these are good off the rip, because if you're putting a consistent move on it, a consistent setup, these are going to be so good. And you can see that from the results of the golf shots. Because these are swing weighted perfect, because the lie angle is good, the loft is good, they're going to perform insanely well, because they're just so well designed, and it's rare that you get that nowadays. Unfortunately, the clubs are just mass produced. The technology is still there in them, but the margin for error is probably 2 or 3 degrees. And unfortunately, when you get to a higher level in golf, you start to really notice that. And, you know, I would notice if my 4-iron is 1 degree out in lie angle, I'm going to notice that in ball flight straight away. So, yeah, I'm super impressed with these. Let's hit a couple more, but I am sold so far. Okay, just didn't really turn that one over, but still a beautiful carry. Good launch again. Really good numbers. And that's one thing I've kind of noticed. I've definitely got to keep my speed up with these shafts. I definitely feel like when I start to slow down a touch, they kind of go away from me. I mean, that was horrendous. I could not have struck that any worse. But look at it. You know, it's not moved offline a bunch. It's absolutely fine. I mean, look at this. What is going on? I mean, am I good? Am I this good at golf, or is it just the clubs? I hope that kind of shows you guys the technology behind these. These are definitely going straight in the bag for me. And like I say, I've been super excited to film this video and get these. They've been in my house a couple of hours, and you know, straight off the rip, they're performing like this. I knew that they would because of the technology behind them. How well built they are, the swing weight being the exact same. That one's the key fundamental thing, is the swing weight. I'll say that word over and over and over again, but look, if your swing weight is D7 in your gap wedge and your 9-iron is C8, you know, it's just a completely different feel. You cannot have that within your bag. And I would say that's probably the most common mistake that a lot of golfers make, is going and getting fitted for golf clubs, but actually not taking into account, what is my swing weight of my irons? If you're getting a new 3-wood, you're slotting it in between your 2-iron and driver. Don't just go to your fitting and just hit the 3-wood. You need to test your driver out, check the swing weight of that, check the swing weight of your 2-iron, and make sure that 3-wood matches into your bag. Because if it doesn't, you're going to produce so many different golf shots, and ultimately, it's just a completely different feel. When you go to get that club in your hands, it's going to be completely different to what you've got, you know, one up or one down. So, you know, out there, the results are going to be inconsistent as well. So if you do want to find out a little bit more about these, I'm going to leave my link below for AVODA Golf. Straight onto the website, go to the combo length irons. That is what I have got. If you want one length, go for one length. But for me, the combo length was an absolute no-brainer. It's kind of that baby step into the one length irons. And I was pretty scared to make that complete jump to one length. But maybe the next set we get might be completely one length. Who knows? But yeah, I'm so impressed with these. Guys, if you want 5% off these, use code JOSH5 at checkout. Super, super impressed with these clubs. And if you did enjoy that video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you all for the next one.